All right, everyone. Last day of January coming up. It's been a pretty good start to the year. And this is the watch list video for Tuesday, January 31st. The SPY gapped down today and actually sold off, but definitely ran into a bunch of support here. So you can see on an intraday basis, ended up with a fairly strong close there at the end. And for me, the SPY closing right here, if you look to the left, it's just still right in a range. So there's no shock events. So we just go on and build the watch list. I actually feel a little bit weird having dry ships on my list. I almost put it on the list yesterday, and I'll show you why. For today, well, you can't really see it, but that was the biggest volume yet. I have to zoom way in to show it to you. Biggest volume yet after this ridiculous sell-off, right? So I thought, hey, it might be ready to bounce. Well, it did bounce today, but I never did trade it. So why is it on the list? Let me zoom back out here. All right, so back to the daily chart, which you can't tell anything because after the reverse splits and everything, it looks like it hit over 800, back in November, I guess this was. Yeah, middle of November, which that's because of reverse splits. It actually hit 100, 120 in the pre-market. Anyway, it's done nothing ever since, just grinding lower. But in after hours, it's trading at 344. So that's a significant gap up. So we're going to watch it tomorrow. This thing does not get much traction on almost any given day. I was watching it for a possible flag break here. I thought it ran out of the gate. It was kind of flagging. I thought if it got over the highs, over 265, this one might squeeze. It never did get going. But in after hours, again, trading at 343, and it looks like it went as high as 380. So trading all the way up here. So we'll definitely watch this one tomorrow and the other shippers as well. Having said all that, I still feel weird just putting dry ships on my list at all. HMNY. Loved this chart coming into today. Called it at 421 today, and it subsequently went to 463. I think I might have got $500 out of that move, so not too bad on an intraday basis. But closed back down close to where I bought it. Of course, I don't hold overnight, so I'm not in it anymore, but definitely deserves to be watched tomorrow. I don't have any kind of trigger price. We're just going to watch it, but I like the support below now. It's got a lot of support in this area. As I said in the video coming into today, it's had a lot of nice big spikes, and then it had some spikes that were thwarted, like here and here. But on Friday, it closed and actually held some of its gains. And then today, it actually held up fairly well again. So we're going to watch it again tomorrow. They did have news today. I think a stake was reported or something like that, or insider buying. One of those two. ESES, now this to me, I look at this chart, and I don't think, oh boy, if it breaks this 2-day high, it's going to rip. I look at this chart and think it is, super extended. All right? So keep that in mind, but I want to have it on watch anyway. So you had that big spike Friday morning, then you had a big spike this morning, and it just kept pounding at that $2 area and broke through it and then tanked, but then ended up closing strong. So, the intraday action is kind of interesting. Having said that, it is way extended from where it was. So just goes on watch. I suspect I probably won't trade that one tomorrow. CALA, thanks to Ramesh in our chat room. Man, I got like $600 out of this on Ramesh's heads up. So that was nice. And you know what? It closed strong. And look at the volume there. So massive volume for this stock. Looking for maybe a red to green, something like that in it tomorrow. Made a pretty good move today. DGLY, a lower float stock. Nice volume spike today. Looking for a follow-through day in that one tomorrow. They did have good news, by the way. MSDI, I absolutely don't love this one. All right, you had a big spike here, then 2 days lower. Definitely on declining volume, but it's basically round tripped from where the spike started. I like partial retraces, not full retraces. So you might say, why is it on your list? And I would say, I'm not even sure, but I'm going to watch it. All right. One of my least favorite from the list. WG also has almost round trip, but it did have some buying come in when it got below 3 today. And it hasn't completely round trip. So if this is going to turn back up, probably going to be tomorrow. Definitely want to watch this one. I mean, you had the big spike here, 3 days lower on declining volume, and a little bit of a bottoming tail. To me, it makes it worth it. I said in yesterday's video that I'm going to start putting at least one potential bounce play on watch. Now, bounce plays are a totally different animal than I normally play, okay? They're meant to be played on a different way than I play normal trades, and they also work much more slowly when they do work. So don't think that I'm looking at Sears Holdings and that I'm bullish on the company or the chart. But with 3 days straight down, it's overdue for a bounce, so it lands on our bounce playlist. Again, like a year ago, I walked through a Sears in Altamont Springs in Altamont, Florida. And all the salesmen were sitting in like the office chairs, or sitting on the furniture, watching the TVs. I felt like I was watching Smart Tech from 40-Year-Old Virgin. And I mean, they didn't even look at us. And we were the only customers in the stores, and they weren't even interested. So to me, that was a tell, hey, this company's in trouble. And the chart also verifies that. Having said all that, I just thought I would share that story with you. Having said all that, it's certainly overdue for a bounce. So we're going to watch it. Not my favorite type of setup, though. Weight Watchers had an inside day. WTW was on watch for today. No trades in it. It's certainly interesting over 1250, though. Kind of a little flag break there. RTTR had a nice little breakout today. I mean, this thing had, if you picture a trend line from here to here to here, it definitely had like a big flag pattern on the daily, a little bit of extra volume today. It's definitely a thinner stock, but it broke out. Let me glance at the weekly real quick. All right, there's the weekly. So the daily might have a follow-through day tomorrow, red to green, something like that. Certainly didn't have massive volume, and I'm a big fan of focusing on recent high flyers, which you did have back here with this kind of volume. You didn't really have that today, but it also kind of has blue skies, so I'm going to keep an eye on that one too. We're going to add some gappers in the morning as well before the market opens. And in addition to this list, hopefully we'll find a couple nice trades. All right, enjoy your night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.